Help, wouldn't it? Shall we try that again? Good evening again. It's Indigo here from Indigo's Oracle, Mystic, Medium and Magic. So this evening we have Spirit Talk, and it's really exciting because I'm going to work with one of my dear friends and my admin who does such wonderful work for me, and I'm going to introduce her just as I just going to see the comments a moment. Thank you very much. Thanks, Di Fleming. Could you please shout out ladies who are watching? That would be fantastic. And without further ado, I'm going to invite my invite the spirit world to step back so I can talk, please. Invite my dear friend, Mystic Lauren Clairvoyant. Hello. Oh, you're on mute. Oop.
No. There we go.
We're just fighting to unmute. You're on mute. How are you doing, love?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Hope you're well.
Well, it's really lovely to have you here. And part of Spirit Talk is like understanding and hearing, well, not understanding, but listening to your story. So we'll start with that in a moment, and what you do and the amazing magical stuff you do. And then we have some communication and conversation around spirit world and spirit conversation. And anyone who's got a question, please do ask. Shortly after that, myself and Lauren will do a demonstration. I'm going to work with mediumship this evening, but I'm not sure how Mystic Lauren Clairvoyant's going to work. So we'll see going forward. Hi, Lisa again. Hi, Lane, and hi, Jen, Emma, Di, Maria. Evening. Laura Jane is here as well. So I'm going to leave you for a moment with Mystic Lauren Clairvoyant, and she will explain what she does and how she got to do this.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for letting me come on and join you. So I don't really know where to start with my story, really. All I can go by is I always felt very different to everybody else. I never fitted in. Schooling was very, very difficult. I never had a place, so I spent a lot of my time on my own. Spirit, I've always sensed them, and I never understood it, but I always heard them. My name would often be called, and I just could never know where the voice would come from. I always would look behind me, because as my name is being said, it said airy and such a distant, and there was never nobody there. And as I was going through my teenage years, I did hit rock bottom with anxiety and depression, and I started to feel energy, and most of my life it's from feeling. It used to be from smell, and I just don't know where to begin with my journey, because one of the things of where I started to realise that I had connection with spirit was through memory. A memory that I believed was mine, but never was. And I didn't know that until I was 15, when I sat down with my mum and we were speaking about childhood memories, and I started to talk about the bus that I went on as a child, and going to like a play school and having one of these wooden desks, what you lift up and down. I could even remember what I was eating. But one thing that I couldn't always get into my head was me being pushed on a swing. And the swing that I was being pushed upon, I knew the man that was pushing me, but the man that was pushing me had passed when I was quite young. But as I was being pushed, I could see the headstones of a graveyard, but it never struck back then until I sat with my parents, and I remember doing this picture. Again, this wasn't my memory, but it was what I always believed. And I described the picture that I believed I drawed, and my mum brought out an album, which is all connected to my sister that passed over in spirit when she was 8. I wasn't even born when she'd passed or was born. And my mum showed me this picture, and I said, "See, I told you I did this." And my mum shook her head at me and said to me, "No, this was the last drawing your sister drew me before she passed to spirit." And so that in itself was my very first connection. And I went throughout my teenage life where I always felt I needed to live 2 lives. So I felt I needed to live for me as well as my sister. I used to spend a lot of time at her graveyard and talking to her. And, you know, sometimes when you don't understand it, you think you're talking to yourself. But actually, it's not you talking to yourself. You are actually communicating with spirit. And so it all started from there. Moving forwards, because there's a lot to go through otherwise. I lost my mum 10 years coming October. And I decided to accept that I had the ability to communicate with spirit. I had, it first all started where I wanted to just be close to my mum. I wanted to communicate with her. And as I moved on, I had no idea about grounding, no idea about protection. I was just doing everything that I felt guided to do with very little knowledge. And I bought myself a pack of tarot, and I still use them. And I started on Facebook just in a random group and reading, and everybody was like, "That you're so spot on, you know, this is brilliant." But I couldn't ever get in my head was, how do I know this? You know, what am I talking about? Because the thing is when I read, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I can't remember a lot of what I've said unless I look back. So that went from there. And I had a bit of a scare because I started to get the vision. The first actual link with spirit was with a woman that passed named Rose. And she affected me in many ways, physically, mentally, emotionally. And again, I didn't know how I was meant to cut the connection. So she was still connected to me, and I didn't know what to do. And that's when I then would start to talk to angels and help me and sort of thing. And then moving on from that, I had a vision, and I was meant to do a reading. And what I saw wasn't a very nice vision. That stuck with me for quite some time, and it was a young girl that took her life. And I could only feed back to the woman that all I can mention to you is a rape. And she confirmed to me that that was how her passing was. Well, that freaked me out. And I kind of took a step back. And moving on, I kind of pushed all that to the side. But even though I knew it was there, and I came across paranormal investigation. And I absolutely did love it. I absolutely loved paranormal investigating. I loved to communicate, but my purpose for investigating was that I wanted to connect to spirit. I wanted them to be able to voice out and talk about their journey, and to have a closure. that's the sort of thing that I wanted to do, but other people wanted to see things physically chucked around and moved, and I started to actually feel that actually we're aggravating them, and I started to feel that I was disrespecting them. And I had an experience on paranormal investigation that for a while I believed was a negative experience, because that was what was put into my mind. And after working on my journey, I came to realise it wasn't negative, it was just spirit had come too close to me and affected me in a physical way. I actually felt the shock. They were shocked, and I felt suffocated. I couldn't walk. I was struggling to breathe. It was quite a scary experience, but at the same time, it opened a new door for me on my journey. And I went through a stage where I wanted to do what they call spirit rescue. And there's a lot of different opinions on spirit, and spirit that are not trapped but don't realise that they've actually passed over. So there's that. The journey's just never ending, really, for me. But fast forward, I've been dipping in and out of my journey since I've lost my mum. And one of the big things for me was trying to find a label. What am I? Who am I? And over this last year, I've come to realise it doesn't matter what I am. And it's like anything in life. You start to limit yourself, then everything just shrinks, even in every daily living life. I mean, I also have arthritis and I get restricted to things, but your mind is such a powerful thing. And if you start to put into your mind that you can't do something, you won't. You need to change that in your mind and say you can, and you will do it. It's just a funny thing how the mind works.
I was just going to say, Lauren, I had a prime example of that in my work, just to really quickly say. My employer asked me to do the cat's water, and the cat's water, if you've got cats, it needs to go right to the top. And I don't know whether I'm dyspraxic. She thought I was, but whether I am or not, don't know. But I was really nervous of spilling this water. And every time I did it, I put it down and it spilt. And one day I went, actually, I'm going to try something, because, we're made of water and we hold these messages within us. So I'm going to try something. And what I did was I just said, I can do this. And I did not spill one drop. So I know the difference between can and can't is massive. And it really does make a difference. And the other thing I just wanted to say really quickly was that your experience of spirit speaking to you is almost identical to my own experience. So I used to believe it was, statues and paintings talking to me, and now I know it's spirit. So beautiful. But do keep going. Sorry, I just wanted to add my little bit.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely right. It is. It's whatever you program into your mind. Moving forwards from that, it's quite fast forward, because I've gone through quite a lot on the spiritual side of things. So like I say, I was dipping in and out, had different experiences. I wouldn't say they were negative, but I would just say that I've experienced what a lower entity is, as well as positive, and very much when you're on a spiritual journey, if you constantly think about the fear, that's what you bring in. You bring in that dark. And I did trance mediumship, okay, and the journey for that for me was about trust. And the issue there was about protection. In my head, I'd put into my head I wasn't protected, but actually it's quite the opposite. I'm highly protected. But because I kept thinking about negative trying to get me, or they're coming to get me, that I started to manifest in that sort of thing. So I started to pick up on the lower entities and the negative, and in every aspect of life, not just spiritual, but as well as physical. And like I say, trance mediumship was about trusting and about letting myself surrender and knowing that I don't have to be in control and know that I will always be safe. So that was my trance mediumship experience of why I was put there. And moving on, I have had spiritual healing myself. I did a year of spiritual healing. I was in a very dark place. I felt no good. I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't know what my purpose was. But yeah, so I was in a right rut. Okay, and it learned me a lot with spiritual healing. I've had counselling in my past. It never worked for me. It may work for some others, but I would always advise spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is so big, and there's so many different methods that you can use for healing. And it helped me. It saved me. And it made me open my heart and open my mind even more to the spirit world. And it got to where I wanted to help others to experience what I experienced on a spiritual level. Not saying I would push it onto anybody, because I wouldn't, but going from my experiences, I would always advise others. If they feel that they're at a dead end in any form of counselling, there's never a dead end, because you can always take another route. And so yeah, I did spiritual healing. I then started to work with the angels. I had to learn bits and pieces about archangels, and I started to sit with the angels, and I learned my own vibration, and vibration is so powerful. And when you actually feel your own vibration, that can be overwhelming itself, let alone when you've got spirit energy come in, let alone when you've got angelic energy coming in. Everything just heightens, and that's my home. I love the high vibration. I'm probably rambling on quite a lot, but moving forwards, I have studied and studied and studied. There's so much more I want to study, but I have to slow down and work with everything that I've got first, because the thing is it's okay, study, 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 and everyone's like, you know, you're on fire with this, but there's a point where you need to slow down and go back to everything that you've learned to be able to use those tools. So that's where I'm at. I have now got my own shed, if you like, or summer house, sacred space, whatever you want to call it. And I'm hoping to open my doors next year to the public. Hopefully COVID will be somewhere else. And I will be offering spiritual healing, different forms. I shall be offering Reiki, spiritual counselling, clairvoyant, mediumship. Mediumship is definitely something that I want to sit with and do more of, because I don't do as much, and that's from me thinking I'm not good enough for that. But I know that the connections, when I make them, they come unexpectedly for me. So I can be doing a card reading and they step in, because they know that's my comfort. So even though my door's open, they know my door's open.
So can I just talk on that a minute, Lauren? Because one of the things, I mean, you've done some of the lessons I've done and some of the circles I hold. And one of the things I really, really encourage is that people work in their own way. And even myself, like, I had so many people saying, you need to do either shamanism, or you need to do either card reading, or you need to do just mediumship, or you need to do just spiritual healing. And the thing is, like, everything bows down to the four directions, and we won't go into that because it's a huge long subject, but it is an essence of everything is energy. So why do we need to, why as humans do we have this need to box everything into compartments? And I think it's different mentalities. But for me, you know, if I see a reader, I would love them to use their holistic understanding of the whole of the universe to, you know, to read, because there's so much information, there's so much experience. And even going back to the sadness you felt with your losses and your, you know, all of that experience has brought something to you that you can use within your work. So I you know, in some cases, if I'm doing a spiritualist meeting, I will link in and say I'm just doing mediumship. But other ways, I work with the three, which is the mystic, medium, and magic, and that's how I'm going to do going forward. But it's yeah, I think the spiritual world is changing. Do you not think that, Lauren?
Yeah, I do. Just from my experiences, it's complex to express the changes. It's like anything, just walking into nature, the energy has changed, but I can't put my finger on what's changed. There's some sort of shift going on, and I know it's been affecting me. I know it's not just all to do with the conditions that I have. I know that there's something else going on, especially in personality, because sometimes I can be out of character, and, you know, I'm not sure where it comes from, to be honest.
I was going to say that I've been speaking to a lot of magical people, and when I say that, I mean practicing witches and such like, and they're all saying that there has been a really, really intensive energy. And I think last week or the week before, I said that I felt the tectonic plates. I felt like the world was physically changing. So what happens is, as the earth is physically changing, we physically change ourselves, because everything has that butterfly effect. You know, one thing has cause and effect. So I think part of what we're going through, it's almost like we're shedding old skins. And it's like I had to go through my little lost person who doesn't like what they're doing and feels really small and inferior. I had to go through that to shed that part of my life. And actually, even the broadcast we're doing now, the maximum we've had is 33 people. I haven't had that in about a year. I'm seeing people I haven't seen for a year today. And for me, that with the confirmation, I don't know whether you saw the story earlier, but the lady I read for earlier said that literally the angels sent her to me, is just incredible. So I think the thing is, we need to assess what we're going to let go of, and if that's part of our personality, then we need to sort of think about, you know, why do we need to go through this? And your frustration is probably linked to your physical health. And having your sacred space that you can go and shout and holler and paint or whatever you need to do will really help.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that's what I have to offer. But I'm also doing holistic therapies as well. Just that come about because not everybody wants the spiritual side. Even though holistic therapy comes in on a spiritual level, but it's more being mindful in a holistic therapies, and being able to relax and just, you know, let go of everything. So I am obviously doing bamboo massage, Indian head massage. I have even thought about going back to nails. And the idea where the nails come in is because that's on a physical touch. And on a physical touch, so it would kind of end up probably a bit of a twist. So when somebody has a nail treatment, it would be kind of like, you know, being a bit more, it's hard to explain it. So basically doing a reading, but on a physical, so it's more, I don't know how to explain. The energy is stronger. Do you know what I mean? The link is stronger. Yeah. And I mean, for me, when I use cards, I don't necessarily have to look at the card, but if I keep shuffling, the energy I feel for me keeps linking, keeps the
Yeah.
link going.
I was going to say, sorry, what you were saying about the nails as well. It's really interesting because when you hold someone's hand, you have that physical grounding. We're grounding our energy against each other, especially if you're doing left and right, which I don't know what, you know, the two hands that make the circuit. But what I was going to say is that the same with tea leaf reading. When you sit down with someone with a tea leaf reading, which is one of my most favorite fortes, the first thing you do is get someone to drink a cup of tea. And what do people do when they drink a cup of tea? They relax. What do they do when they're having their nails done? They relax. So the connection into the energy is very gentle and very, very open. Lauren, we've got a question here from Natalia, has said, what is the difference between medium practice and magical practice? Okay, I'm going to take this one and then we'll move over to you taking another one. So, Natalia, I'm just going to put your comment on the screen. I hope you don't mind. I wouldn't say there is a lot of difference, okay? For me, mediumship is magic. But what I would say is that as a practicing medium, some people haven't liked the fact I'm more pagan minded, or I'm more into nature's healing and into the old wise ways. Now, I never, ever mess with someone else's destiny. So I do not bind. I do not belong to a coven. I do everything by intuition. That's how I've always lived. But medium is connecting to the spirit world through communication. So it's translating from the spirit world. Psychic is reading into the energy. So it's feeling into the aura, connecting soul to soul, as some people would say, or heart to heart. And magic is to do with, more than anything, self-empowerment, positive reprogramming. We said earlier about the mind. And I went through a really depressive time in my life when I read this book. I've still got it, The Positive Woman, and it changed my world. But it changed my world from the inside. And when you change your world from the inside, and your expectations and your beliefs in yourself, your outside world changes too. So for me, magic is to do with setting intention and making action. I don't believe that you throw, you know, a coin wrapped in something in the ground and it just grows lots of money for you. You need to have the intent as well. But if you're saying to yourself, as your soul self, I am worthy of this. One of the first things I did when I started broadcasting is I used to look in the mirror, and it's a bit of a joke, but I used to look in the mirror and say, I'm the great and powerful Indigo, which is actually from Wizard of Oz. It's like, I'm the great and powerful Oz. And it was to build up my belief in myself. But that's my thing about magic. I believe that we all have magic in us. We all have personal power. And part of what pulls us down with this is limiting beliefs that Lauren mentioned, and also what other people think. Now, someone out there might love the fact I've got grey and blue streaks and flowers on my hair. Someone else thinks I'm a complete idiot. Doesn't matter, because it makes me happy. And that's kind of, you know, holding your inner magic, holding your personal power, not being rude. You don't need to put fingers up to it, but just doesn't matter. What does it matter? Nothing to do with me. And someone once said to me, it's none of your business how someone feels about you or what someone thinks about you. So shall we see if there's another question on here? I hope that answered you okay. Let's see if we've got anyone else. Absolutely. Natalie, Joanne, yes, this is what I teach. All sorts of wonderful things, but we'll go into that maybe at the end so we can not hog the time. Okay. Laura Jane is saying less judgment on yourself and others. Everything starts from you. If people out there are judging you, it's because you're judging yourself. If you don't feel love for yourself, you won't feel love outside of you. Everything starts from the universe, which is your voice. Starts from you. All right? Lovely. All right, Lauren, what do you fancy doing? We got a message from Stacey there.
My motto is, I don't care if I'm not your cup of tea. I drink coffee anyway.
You can't be something for everyone.
No,
you can't be
absolutely
something
not.
And maybe the self-judgment thing is to do with stepping into your power. And, you know, a lot of the work I do with my group is just bringing their self-esteem up. And there's Jen McCarthy. She's been in my group. She'll tell you about it. All right. So should we begin with some readings? Because people have been very patient and listened to our story, which has been really brilliant.
Otherwise I'll just keep babbling on, otherwise.
Well, the thing is, we're so passionate, and that's the thing. When you're put on that spiritual path, you know, someone says to me, "Oh, Indigo, what do you do?" And they kind of regret it. Because it's like this and this, and I'm going to take you on a walk, and we're going to do some divination on this walk. And, you know, and if anyone's going to the healing fair this weekend, I will be there. I'm not working, I'm playing. Come and meet me. I might have green hair by then. I might go green tomorrow. Watch your space. All right. So, Stacey's put you such a lovely message.
It's been amazing watching your journey, Lauren, from when you first started. You're absolutely shining like a diamond, you are. Thank you so much, Stace. And it's nice to watch you too, sweetheart.
Oh, Jenna's got a message for you. See what you can do for this one before we just go into some reading. Sorry, we will go into some.
My advice to that, Jenna, is to basically sit in your power and connecting with your guides. Sometimes you don't have your spirit guide first that comes forward. Sometimes it's your animal totems, and that's how it worked for me. My very first experience was in my animal totem, and it was an amazing journey. I have never felt so much freedom. And this is in a meditation experience. And I had a white horse then, and I absolutely loved it. I was in a meadow, the sun was shining, I had no stresses, no worries. It was just amazing. But it takes practice. And see, one of my things is I was shown by my guides that I was safe. I go quite deep into meditation, which I can go quite into trance. And I used to be afraid of it because I had an experience but I didn't know how to get back. But it may have just been because I liked where I was and I didn't want to come back, but I knew I had to come back. And it scared me a bit because I was like, well, what happens if I can't get back? I did a meditation with my guides, and it was quite strong because I actually felt my higher self or your soul move away from your physical. And they showed me this journey, and I went with them, and I felt myself going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I had to just surrender and trust, because that is a very big key, is the trust. And after a little while of going on my journey, it was time to go back, and they took me the same route and put my soul self back into my physical, and I came back round. And that was them showing me that no matter how deep I go, they will always be there, because I'm not there. I live a physical body, so I'm not just going to peg out. So yeah, it's just about really trusting yourself. And even if you just start with mindful meditation, So I wouldn't jump straight into spiritual. I would say probably go into a mindful or de-stress meditation, just so you can get used to it, and then move on. Unless Indigo has
sorry.
anything else.
I was going to I was going to interject. So the first thing I'd say is consider why you'd be frightened of spirit. Spirit are your loved ones. Yeah, that's the first thing I would say. Second thing is, we've all got loved ones who protect us. Ask them to be with you. And the third thing I'd say is, just like Lauren said, but in a slightly different manner, I would sit in personal power. So just sit quietly, maybe with some music. Some people like silence, and just build it up. So maybe 10 minutes at a time, and then 20 minutes at a time. But Lauren hit it on the head. The key to mediumship and the key to spirit work is trust. If you don't trust yourself, you're not going to trust your guides. And if you don't trust your guides, you're not going to get communication, because you have to know that you're in the right place at the right time. I've been doing spirit work since I was in my late 20s. I'm 44 to be exact. And I've done over 200 mirror scryings publicly in a Bristol museum. And I have never, ever experienced any bad spirit. I've experienced people who've been unkind in this world. I've experienced people who had bad relationships, but I've never had an unkind spirit. What I would say is, if you feel you're not ready to connect to a baby or a child that's passed away, or someone who's committed suicide, then you need to really think into, is that for me? And maybe if it isn't for you, go down the route maybe of working with angels rather than working directly with the spirit world, because there is something you need to be able to kind of take yourself out of the picture. And it's really hard for me to explain it, but it's practice. And it's a lot of sitting and a lot, Monday nights when I do my circle, people sit with their spirit guides and they build that relationship. And that's the only way you can build that connection, in my opinion. Different teachers will say different things, but, I know my own way, and that's it. Yeah, cool. So Leanne Hewitt just said, did both of you experience a connection with spirit when you were a child, or did this become more apparent when you grew into adulthood? I heard my name just like Lauren. Just like Lauren. I had a green man head, carved head, that used to call my name. And I had wallpaper that moved, and I had a painting that used to talk to me, frighten the life out of me. But I never knew it wasn't the painting, because when when you're a child, you look to what's there that's got a face that's talking to me. But yeah, a bit later.
Yeah, for me it was hearing my name called. There were other things, but I could never sleep with the light off, because I would see movement. And I still see that today, but I have understanding of what I'm seeing now. But as a child, I didn't. So I always had my full light on. I could not.
I get so excited when I see the energy shift. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to sit and watch spirits. Especially with sparkles. Sparkles are my favourite, because they just
and the
I see them as fairies.
The colour comes in as well, the flashing colours, and I'm like, where has that just come from? But yeah, I've seen a lot of things when the lights are off, and even Damon, my eldest, he doesn't like the light off. So I get a feeling that he senses things, but just afraid of it. But I
was going to say, with this fear thing, I remember when my grandparents passed away, my sister stayed in the house, and I remember going back, and this is before I kind of started my spiritual path as such, but I remember sort of like running from room to room, not looking in mirrors and windows, because I didn't want to see anything. But obviously that was my grandparents. It would have been super cool if I saw them. And there was a situation where someone did see someone in my home. A boyfriend of mine said, "Oh, who's that in a dressing gown or something?" And it was what my grandmother wore. It wasn't anyone in the house. It was just us two. So, you know, there's been stuff like that going on. But the biggest thing I think is if you're fearful, you need to figure out what that fear is, and maybe go down a different route until you're ready, because fear attracts fear. So if you look into a mirror and you're scrying, you know, a few months ago, I did some scrying and someone had a deformed face. Now, someone might find that really frightening. Turned out this person had lost parts of their face. So I know with my spirit team that they're going to give me information and images that are just what people are. And how many people do you know that disfigured, being in fires and things, they're not bad people just because they've got skin like that. That's the horror movies that does that. So I think there's a really big difference between horror movies and reality. And yeah, spirit are always there. You just connect to them stronger when you're still. Okay, cool.
Just reading Kerry's comment.
You'll have to talk to us or talk to me in private with that, Kerry, if you want to. Oh, she's got another one up there. Okay. Who was it? A person or was it a spirit? Sorry, we're not going into this readings very quickly, but we will. I promise. I promise. It's just fascinating. I absolutely love hearing people's story. I think the children of today are so aware. My daughter knows how to get rid of my headaches.
Yeah, do you know, my daughter going back a year ago, Alicia, when I was doing some healing on Ben, and because I knew I had it there because I can feel the warmth, and I placed my hands actually on Ben's head because he used to get really bad headaches. And after a few minutes, he'd say to me, "Lauren, you need to get your hands off me. You're burning me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? I'm not burning you." He said, "You are burning me." And the thing is Alicia, I believe, is a raw healer. She come over and she took my other hand, and I still had my hand above Ben. And then she went to Ben, then she went back to me, and then she went and sat back down. Yeah. It was almost like she was calling the energy.
Yeah.
That was going through to Ben. It was so strange.
They're so intuitive, and you've got to remember they've been through something that most of us have no idea what that was like.
No.
You know, they've had a chance, and you know, as much as COVID is a horrible thing and how it's affected people has been terrible, but the children have had a chance to be away from the school and feel themselves. And connect more with their gardens and connect more with their families. So there's so much that's going on. Carrie's saying about attracting nastier spirits is that my vibration's low. I'd really like to talk to you privately about this, Kerry, and see if we can sort this out. What I would say is if you're in a bad place, mediumship's not a good thing to be doing, mentally or energy-wise. So some of you will notice I haven't done much mediumship recently because this week, I'm not kidding you, it's the first time I felt energy in probably about a month. I've been sleeping other than broadcasts and going to work. So understand that there's a time and a place, but I'd love to bring that back to you. I'd love to bring back the trust in yourself that you're not going to attract bad news and bad information, but you also have to be very weary that the spirit will work on your contract. So if you're someone like I used to get predictions, and I still get very gentle ones within my readings, but I told spirit a long time ago, I don't want to know death, I don't want to know destruction, and I don't want to know disease, because it's not for me to interfere with that, and it's not my personal responsibility. So some people will need to go, oh, but you're doing this, doing that, doing this, and this is happening to your family. And because they're ticking boxes, they feel that's the way of working as a psychic. That's their choice. I don't do that. I work on a positive vibe, and I will give you some information of, you know, I can see there's a celebration, there's pink balloons, but it will be what spirits send to me rather than me seeing the future disasters, because I just don't want that. I've told them, if you give me that, I'm not working. So they don't, because we have an agreement with them. It's a mutual beneficial agreement. And anyone who's been put off by their teachers, just come and learn with me. Oh, cool. Sharon's saying that she's had a experience of spirit. That's really, really cool. How would you guide emotional empaths?
Empaths, Lauren. The black tourmaline.
Tourmaline is what he's talking about. Tourmaline. Black tourmaline.
So the stone that I have here.
That's huge. I've got a small bit compared to that.
Again, with the emotional empaths, again, it's all about grounding and putting protection around yourself. I'm an empath, and many of us are. Some of us are more sensitive than others. And I'm extremely sensitive. I can't handle being in big crowds. It can get quite loud. If I'm not grounded properly, then it's just chaos. I can't deal with it.
It's important to shut down, and it's important not to be nosy, because if you're focusing on everything that's around you, you're not paying attention to driving or going down the street. And you know, there's been quite a few times where I've had to literally I cut my cord because the spirit world starts talking to me, and I'm like, no, I'm driving somewhere, this is not appropriate. So it's holding boundaries.
The thing with me, because I kept myself open for a long time, and what I mean by I never closed down, and this was one of the problems. And I do still struggle to close down, but I do my prayer and I do my chakras, and I just have to trust in the spirit world for that. But when I didn't do these things, I can go to town and I can feel my moods fluctuate. And this is why I can't handle it. 1 minute I'm angry, then I'm irritable, then I'm happy, then I'm laughing. And it's just like, what is going on? And this is what I mean by chaos. Your head, there's just so much going on. You don't know what's being said. It's not a nice feeling.
I was going to say, oh, Sam's here. Hi, Sam from us. I was going to say my own experience before I didn't know how to shut down, harness it, was that I'd walk past people in the street and I would feel their thoughts or think their thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, were they just talking? And they weren't at all. But I just pick up on everything. And it is important that you live the human life, you know, the real on here life, as well as the spirit life, because you know, there's so many things that we do need to pay attention to, and that's really, really important. But especially driving, when people are in my car, I say, like, no spiritual talk, because as soon as someone starts talking about stuff like that, it starts my chakras, especially my crown chakra, opening.
Yeah.
So what does make you a better medium? Sat in your power practice or both of them? Absolutely. The only way you can be a better medium or better at anything is practice, but also removing that judgment. So like when we are hopefully Lauren's doing okay, because I can keep going till 9 o'clock, not a problem.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm really enjoying it, actually. I could probably keep going all night. But it's a case of if you're thinking, I'm like, say if I'm doing Lauren a reading now and I've got a gentleman, he's got stripy pajamas on, and he's showing me he's got a button missing and there's a handkerchief in the pocket. Now, it could be that Lauren takes all of that, except that she doesn't understand the handkerchief. Now, if I'm going, oh, well, I'm rubbish because I got it all, I got the button missing, but I got the handkerchief and there was no handkerchief, you're already putting yourself in a position where you're saying you're rubbish, okay? Because that's human mind. The important thing is to understand you will never get given anything by spirit that doesn't make sense, but it might be a metaphor or it might be something more to it. So you would revisit that I'm being shown this handkerchief. It's got some significance. And in my own mind, I would investigate that handkerchief and see if I could see the initials, because I can feel that there's embroidery on it. But this is all practice, and sitting in the power is really important, but sitting in your own variation of the power. So I sat in circle for maybe about 4 years every week for an hour, sat with a candle with a group. And even though the development didn't seem like it was going very quickly, actually I was learning without realizing. So it's about removing judgment of yourself, going with what you're given. If you see a pink flamingo, give a pink flamingo. Yeah, they might understand it. It might be a private joke. Right now I'm seeing an inflatable pink flamingo. I don't know who it's for or what, but it's important you say a pink flamingo. And if they say, I don't understand a pink flamingo, you can go back to spirit and you can say, can you tell me more? If you're auditory, or if you're seeing, you can look at it or you can sense into it. But it's really hard as a medium to explain how you can sense into something in your mind. That's development brings that in. So lots of different experiences, and my biggest advice for you is give what you get. Don't judge yourself. Allow yourself to seem a prat, because you always will do. They will give you something that will make you look so silly. I did a demonstration in front of Tony Stockwell, and I'm not going to show you exactly what I did, but I'm going to show you kind of what I did. So when spirits sit with me, they make me action in their way, or they make me feel their way. So at the moment, I'm not really looking like me anyway, so I don't know who's here. But they got me doing this action, all right? And this was quite earlier on in you can imagine, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. It's all right. It didn't smash. I so saw that happening. But anyway, that's the rubbish psychic in me. I always spill my water. No, so they got me doing this action, and until I could know what it was, I couldn't get out of it. And it turned out it was about fishing. But of course, everyone in the room's bursting out and laughing. Tony Stockwell, who I really revere, is stood there laughing his head off. And I was like, this is my first demonstration ever, and I just feel such an idiot. But it was a great lesson, because it really was funny. It brought people together and it was entertaining. And actually, once I got the fishing, the whole thing flew. So that's really important. But yes, I asked for clear and direct, and that's what I get, but laugh, and it's so obvious. So everyone will understand in a different way, because we're different personalities. I've always worked with symbolism. I've always worked with runes and all sorts of things. So that's the sort of thing I get. If you're a very black and white person, what you'll receive from spirit will be different, because they use your memory bank for you to have the experience to relive it. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with Lauren one moment, and let's move on to reading, shall we? And I'm just going to clear up the mess I've just made. Oh, well.
Well, I'll just answer, sorry, briefly. Yeah. The mentioning of seeing 1111 repeatedly. So that connects to the angels. It could be your guardian angel, or it could be just archangels. Look up what 1111 represents, and that will guide you onto what the meaning of 1111 is. And Kerry talks about automatic writing. I've done automatic writing myself when I was on paranormal investigation, and that I found is a practice that comes with discipline. So with automatic writing, sometimes we can how do I explain it? So we can be writing, we'll be relaxed, and spirit goes with the flow. But as soon as we get involved, that pen has to go down, and then you just apologise and start again. That's how I always did automatic writing, and it's something that you have to be aware of.
I was going to say they can learn it in my course coming up in October.
Yeah.
It's one of my sections. Oh, so, it is a good course. It covers everything. So, yeah. All right, should we go into some readings then?
And okay, yeah, let's go. Let's go then.
Well, we'll have to do another spirit talk with Lauren because it's been rather fascinating and very exciting. So it's lovely. How do you respond to a person who doesn't want to take any information you give?
That's probably...
I'll talk to you about that. I'll talk to you about that another time. Give what you get. Sometimes people don't want to hear it or don't want to accept it. The amount of times people come up to me after a gig or message me on Facebook and say, I know who that is now. Yeah, but you need to stop at the reading. Any of you mediums out there, do not link again after you've done your demo because it's really detrimental and it is blurring your boundaries. All right, let's go with Lauren then, and then I'll stop chucking water on the floor.
Okay, so if you just let me know who would like a card or a reading or whoever's coming up, unless Indigo wants to pick somebody, I'm happy to go.
I'd like people to say if they'd like one.
Yeah, because it gives the permission, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to pick. I'm going to get Spirit to pick. So I know far too many people on this live broadcast. That sounded terrible. I know lots of lovely people on this live broadcast. Careful of your words.
I'm going to come to.
Oh, there you go. Lauren's going for
it. Leonora. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly.
Lainey. Is it Lainey?
Yeah. Lainey, yeah, Orel. I hope I'm saying it right.
Let me just find her so we can put her on the screen. There we go. This lovely lady. It is lady, isn't it? I've got that wrong before. Rubbish psychic, eh? Are you here, Loy?
So what does Lainey? So I have got a few decks with me, just because some just don't want to drop. Okay.
I got a sack of them.
Okay, there we go. This is a new deck. Okay, so the card that I have for you is called Best Friends. Okay. Okay. So as I'm connecting with this card, what I am getting from this is there's been a situation with friendships that's been going on, and there's been some conflict. This is what I'm picking up on. Just let me know if I'm going the right track with you. So yeah, so I just feel that there's some conflict with friendship going on around you at the moment, and what I'm getting from this is that, you know, that some things need to be forgotten about. There's something that's happened in the past, because when I look at this card, okay, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a dagger. Okay, so that tells me that there's been somebody that hasn't spoken very highly. Okay, Okay, thank you for confirming that. Okay, so what I want to say to you regarding this is that, you know, whatever uproar there is, it needs to be forgiven, okay? Because I feel that this is a friendship that has been a long friendship and, you know, has a lot of meaning to you. So I want to say that, you know, you need to push these things away from your friendship, because real friends stick together, okay? And no matter what the situation is, or no matter what's happened between you and this friend, you need to see the bigger picture and understand each other as well. So I feel that there's a bit of a misunderstanding going on, okay? But I want to say to you is call this friend and see her and just give her a hug and move on. That's what I'm getting with this card. Move on from this situation. Just let me know if that made sense for you, please. See if there's anything else.
I think it's just a bit slow with the comments, sorry.
And I want to also mention about putting a bit more colour into yourself or around you. I just feel that things were a little bit dark. Just from looking at this picture, the surrounding is quite dark. It needs brightening up. So you can see that there's some colour trying to come in. But I also want to say that things will be okay. There's a rainbow right here. So the colour will come in and all will be well with your friendship. Just seeing if there's anything more. And the word that comes forward is stop hiding. So there's something that's being hidden, or you're hiding from something. And I think that it's about facing whatever this hidden thing is. What is this hidden thing? See. And just know that you're not alone. So I'm going to leave that one there. And otherwise I'll be here all day.
It's lovely. I think we just got a delay in comments, I'm afraid. This does happen sometimes.
I hide myself
and never feel good enough. You need to come on my course as well. I'll teach you to feel good. I do think that like some understanding of spiritual ways can really help, because it can show you how to empower yourself, and it can also show you how to follow your own guidance, which is important.
Absolutely.
So I want to say that I have a gentleman with me. I know he'd have very big glasses. I know that he had something going wrong with his chest, or his chest, I suppose, inside here, because I'm feeling like I've got a lump in here. I'm feeling like I'm either like almost overwhelmed, but overwhelmed with a physical lump inside. Okay, this gentleman's got shaky legs. So I know that there was some kind of nerve issue with this gentleman. And I want to say, because I'm not going to read specifically for anyone, I want to connect to someone in the audience. I want to say that this gentleman has a connection to the name Terry, because Terry is coming in very strong with this gentleman. Now, as I'm working with him, I do feel that he's an older man. I do feel that he had some hospital conditions around him, because he's showing me the plastic bracelet on his wrist. And he's also showing me that he would have needed some intravenous, he would need some medication put into him. The word he's saying is pumped into him, but I don't know quite the the definition there. I want to say there's a name with M that's with him. So it's a gentleman and a lady with him. And I can't quite hear correctly, but it's Maureen or Mildred or no. What? Let me see if I can hear better. Okay. So I feel the lady would have either been very soft-spoken or she would find it hard to speak. This is really important to say. Okay. Now, as I'm working with this gentleman, he's showing me an image of the Lady of the Tramp. So whoever it is on here has got a real fascination of Disney, because I'm seeing the two dogs with the spaghetti in the middle. And I also want to bring in the name Laura and the name Sarah with him also. So can anyone on here, please, I'm not going to remember anything I've said, and Lauren's not happening. So can anyone on here take what I've said, please? And I know we've got a delay here. Okay. So even though I say I know we've got a delay here, that is part of your life as well. So there's something that you've been wanting to do that's been held up by paperwork, because this is what's showing me. And I want to say to you also that there's a dog in spirit with this person as well that you should recognize. So I'm going to wait a moment because I know that we are not getting any feedback. If you can take anything that I've said, please do say. People are coming and going, so they might have gone already, but I'm hoping that we can connect this lovely soul. So this gentleman that's with me is quite a serious gentleman. I know that he would sit. Helen Porch could be my dad. Okay. Do you recognize, is the name Marsha? Marsha. Okay. Jen, did she wear pearls? Can you let me know? Can you let me know? I love Disney. My friend is Terry, female, still here, and Grand's name is Martha. I'm with Stacey. I'm almost. Am I with Stacey? Sorry, I'm just testing the energy. I'm with Stacey. I'm with Stacey. Okay, so thank you, Stacey, for bringing that up. I want to go back to the Lady in the Tramp moment. So there's a feeling of not feeling connected, of not feeling a romantic connection. They want you to go out, darling. They want you to get dressed up and go out. There's something you've been wanting to do that's needed to be postponed, and they want to give you the reassurance this is going to happen. Now, what I want to say to you, Stacey, is that there's some qualification that you now want to do. You've done one qualification, maybe you've done two, but there's another one you want to do, but something's got in the way of being able to do that. But they're just reassuring you that this will happen. Now, this gentleman that I'm working with has got false teeth, because he's I'm finding it really hard to talk right now. So can we just take that away, please? Granddad has dog in spirit, and pearl is my grand's favorite jewelry, because I was seeing a pearl necklace with her. Okay. Now, I want to say to you, Stacey, that she's saying you have a similar personality to her. She always felt that she didn't do enough. And I want to say that this is something you feel in your own world, that you feel that you don't do enough and you don't give enough. But she's here to say the ear you lend and the hand you help is enough. Okay? Don't burn yourself out for other people. She's coming in with a dove. So I know that there's a dove that connects you to your granny or your grandmother, and I do believe it's on the funeral information, because that's what is coming in now as on a piece of paper. So I want to leave you with a lovely pink rose from her, reminding you of self-care, reminding you of the beautiful spirit soul you are, and knowing that they're both waiting to work with you whenever you're ready again. All right, lots of love. I'm going to leave you with Lauren. Thank you very much.
Okay, where are we going? You know, I keep getting a pain in my head on and off.
Whereabouts is it? At the back?
Here. No, I'm feeling on top and kind of to the side. It's on and off. So I know it's not a headache.
Not
Because
yours.
if it was, it is not mine because it keeps coming and going.
Oh, Stacey's saying she's got a huge headache. Well, can you take it back so Lauren doesn't have to have it? Maybe you were double linking.
Maybe we will.
Water, girl. Water.
Okay, where am I going? Okay, is Laura Jane still here?
Laura Jane. I think she is. That's her, but let me just see if she's still here. Laura Jane, are you in the house? Drinking lots of water. Stacey, it might be weather pressure or hay fever. So if you've got any antihistamine, it might help. Or give it a good rub. That's tension headaches. Hey, hey, Laura Jane is here. Okay, so Laura, I have the mouth shut. I can never pronounce it properly, so Say again?
It's malachite or malachite.
Malachite.
Anyway, you know what I mean. So okay, so may I just ask, have you been connecting with the angels? I ask this just because I'm feeling angelic energy around you. You just let me know, Laura.
A little bit of a delay with the time. I feel Archangel Michael.
Okay, just because I feel that there's a lot of angelic energy around you at the moment. Although I feel that this is connecting with healing, and the reason why I say healing is because there's a lot of green going on in this card, and the gold for me is angelic. Okay. Okay, so where are we? I feel that there's a shift going on with and around you, Laura, and I feel that this is this. It's like you're bouncing back and forth between something, and I'm not. You're fine, Laura. Yeah, so I feel that there's you're kind of bouncing in and out. It's like you're dipping in and out of something at the moment, and I do feel that this is very much about your own spiritual journey. What is that? I'm also feeling crystals with you as well. So I feel that there's another direction coming in for you, or has started, or you're starting to think about this. I work with gold. Interesting. A bit stuck. Okay. But yeah, it just feels very much. Are you working with crystals, Laura? Just because I'm seeing crystals come in, I'm seeing angels come in, and I'm seeing different types of healing coming in. Are you doing holistic therapies as well? Yes, crystals in thoughts. Okay. And may I don't really like asking questions, but what I feel that the crystals are for you to work in a healing way, but in a holistic way. Does that make sense? Reiki now. Okay.
It's just doing Reiki now.
So perhaps crystal Reiki healing, then that's probably what's coming through then.
The crystals can also help her feel the strength and the power and the encouragement as well to do it.
Yeah.
Art channeling, yeah.
Just yeah, okay. But no, that's what I feel that's coming in for you, Laura. I feel that there is another door opening for you. But like I say, I felt they're bouncing in between. And this must be connecting to the crystals. And I do feel very much that you will be bringing crystals into a Reiki healing, holistic way. That's what I'm strongly feeling. Okay, so what is that? So as I'm looking at this card, Laura, what I'm seeing is how to like you're looking into a galaxy. I think this is to do with your third eye. I feel that this is connecting with your third eye because what I'm seeing is I can see the swollen, and it's very galact-like. Which would make sense that your third eye is becoming more open to the different directions you're going. Have you been getting pressure in your third eye area as well, Laura? Just because I'm just feeling this third eye motion and it's really, really open. Starseed, question mark. Starseed, I'm not sure about the starseed side. Maybe Indigo knows more about that one.
That's why I dropped it from my name, because I haven't got a clue. He kept asking me for starseed readings. I was given the name Indigo Starseed by Spirit. I don't know what starseed means.
No,
other than connected to the outside.
Okay, Laura. Just because I get the pressure, but that might be just them. Might be them showing me that it is the third eye. They're probably what's the word, imprinting on me. But yeah, I can see that your third eye is very wide open, and there's lots of purples in there. I can see the blues in there, but I'm also seeing greens in there as well. So I think there's definitely shifts going on, and there's definitely a big shift happening for you. I think this is what it's coming on about is what would that be then? Connecting into the center. So you're connecting more with your inner self. This is what I'm feeling. Okay, that makes sense. So what I just want to say is that from what I'm feeling is you're now in your alignment. You're now in line with your inner self, as well as being in alignment with your spiritual self. That's what I'm getting as well. But just know that you are supported, and the divine support is definitely there for you. And that's everything that I've got for you at this moment. So it's definitely and owls. Owls is coming in as well. So maybe have a look at what the owl is. Wisdom. There we go. I do feel more in alignment. Yes, higher self and personal power. Yeah, I just feel that it's all in alignment now. But do have a look at what the owl represent. I know it's knowledge and wisdom, but there's something else with that. So I'm going to leave it there. Or I'll keep digging and digging, and then I'll be getting more and more cards to come flowing through.
You'll be there all year.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask one more spirit friend to come and join us. Thank you so much for watching today. I've absolutely loved it. I hope Lauren has as well. And brilliant guest. And we shall do it again. We must do it again. We have got more spirit talks coming up. And those of you who don't know, I have resigned from my day job. So there will be much, much more going on my page. And I'd appreciate every little bit of support, whether it's sharing, whether it's sending me some Facebook stars or purchasing readings. Anything you can do to support me and my spirit team would be amazing. So thank you for being here. Okay, so I have the most excited spirit with me because I don't normally quite talk in this way. I have someone who is over the moon to be here, and I want to say it's a girl. I want to say it's around about, I don't know with the age, but maybe teenage or so. I want to say that this girl had some difficulties with everyday living because of this excitement. She was just off the wall, and I say off the wall because there's something about that phrase that really is connecting to her. Now, off the wall for me is connecting to Vans, the trainers. And I don't know if that's got a connection, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. But I want to say that this girl was like the life and soul of the party, but she really had some social difficulties. So I know that she had hyperactivity. I know that she had difficulty sleeping, relaxing, and just calming down. And I know that at some point she would have needed some help with I don't know whether it's sedation, but just calming the nerves. So we're going to calm this energy down, calm it down. Okay, so I want to say that this girl had something that was developed in her body that took her to spirit, but I want to say that she was bright to the end. As I'm working with this young lady, I do feel that she lost her hair, so I'm feeling that it's cancer. Okay. Okay, I might be with Zoe John. I hadn't thought of that at all. I feel it's your Jasmine. She was autistic, loved her Vans and life and soul. Okay, so I want to say to you, Zoe, did she used to run up the walls? Because she's showing me that she used to run up the walls. Now, we used to do this as kids, but in a bungalow, and we used to walk up the walls by our arms and our legs. But I want to say that she would try and like not do parkour, but she'd try to, not cancer though, the hair was thinning at the end. Okay, cancer was my guess just because of the hair loss. But let me just keep working and see whether we're with your lovely darling Jasmine or not. Okay, all right. So I want to say that, okay, do you have a little black cat, Zoe? Do you have a black cat? I'm seeing a small black cat as a connection to whoever it is for. Okay, small black cat. Okay, TikTok things on the wall. Okay, we're working with Jasmine then. Okay, so I want to pull that energy down. I want to calm things down. I want to calm things down. Okay. So what she's doing for you, Zoe, is she's saying to you that you need to calm yourself down a little bit because there's a little bit of a nervousness. There's a bit of a tentative of what's going to happen next. Now, I do feel this is around schooling or around school, but she's saying to me to tell you that you're always the best mummy. You're always the best mummy. Okay, whatever you choose, whatever you decide is right for you and right for your children. But she wants you to take the pressure off, because what I'm feeling with you, Zoe, is I'm feeling there's some discomfort in your back and that you're just feeling a bit worn out. I want to take you outside. I want to take you in the garden, and I want to take you to a place where you would sit cross-legged with your daughter, and you would just breathe, and you would work with her anxiety in that way. Okay, so I'm hoping this I do my stars. It's the black cat I have now. Okay, so she's showing me the little black cat to show you you're connected. Now, I feel that there's something around you recently that you haven't necessarily felt her near to you, but she's always around you. She just doesn't want to encourage you to reach to the past. She wants to encourage you to move forward. So there's something you've been thinking about studying, and there's something about going now. She's saying about going back to school or going back to study, and she's suggesting to you it would be good because you can focus your mind into something. And even though you have great differences, you have the similarity that you both needed something to do. Okay, you both needed something to do. Right. So I'm being shown, Zoe, that you're not sure where you want to go with things. And I think she's being a bit joking. I think she's sort of pulling your leg a little bit, and she's showing me a dartboard. And she's saying, like, put the details on the dartboard of what you want to do and just lob something at it and see where it lands. It's almost like whatever you do will be the right thing for you. But it's like at the moment you're a bit fragmented in your mind of what you want to do. But she did have anxiety very much. Yes, I haven't felt her so much. And yes, got courses to do, but haven't done them yet. Do everything in time. Okay, nothing is in a hurry. Nothing is in a hurry. But there is a need to prioritize, Zoe, because it does feel that you're burdening yourself with what you haven't done and what you didn't get round to. And this is not making you feel so good. So what she is saying, Mummy, is one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Okay, because there's a feeling that you're kind of like excited about everything going on and you almost overcommit. And that's what she's telling me. Okay, so she wants to blow you a blue butterfly. Okay, we should have some recognition to you. And she's also wanting to surround you with a golden glow. So I don't know what this is. Maybe you're learning Reiki, but she's surrounding you with a golden glow. And she's saying to you, Mummy, it's all going to be okay. In September, everything is going to fall into place. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you with her love, and she wants to give you a hula hoop to go out in the garden and swing around your hips and get that shape back, because that's something that she would like to say to you. She would just be a cheeky little lovely lady, and I want to leave you with her love, and hopefully that's a little bit of reassurance for you, because I know it must be so difficult. I've not experienced it, so I can't say I feel the same or know the feeling, but I hope that's given you a little bit of reassurance. So thank you everyone for being here. Like I said, from August, October, there's going to be lots more going on my page. Do please check out my lovely assistant here. I'm just trying to see, I can't get to your, how do we get to your picture again? Hang on. There you go. Mystic
Lauren.
Get there in a minute. That way. It's always the opposite way. Mystic Lauren, clairvoyant. Check out her page. We'll put some links up afterwards. Do follow myself also, Indigo's Oracle, and I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I am on Instagram, but whether I'm going to stay on Instagram, I'm not sure. So you might want to just try those two. If anyone wants any private readings with myself or Lauren, please get in touch. We have various prices and various products, but it's been absolutely lovely. We will both see you, all being well. I'm going to change the time to 6 o'clock on Friday. The only reason I might not be able to do it is I'm at a healing festival, but I'm there as a guest. So if it's pouring with rain, I'm not going to be getting my computer out and doing a live. If there's something on that I can't miss, I won't be doing a live. Otherwise, I might be sitting in my car and talking to you. But we'll hopefully see you on Friday, and also Friday evening, 7:30, we've got Keep On Chatting Network. We've got my show, Divination Diva. Join us. I have no idea what I'm going to read this week, but it'll be something different. It always is. Know that Spirit World are always close. Just because they haven't come to see you tonight, know they're with you. We just can't get through everyone. We would if we could. And it's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much to my guest, Lauren, Mystic Lauren Clairvoyant. Have you enjoyed your evening?
I have. Can I just add in?
Shorten my name. It's too complicated. Yeah. I can't say it.
I just want to add in there quickly. Cheryl Flint. Every time I see your name, my throat is, I can't breathe. So I want to say to you is you just need to start voicing out. Very, very important. But yeah, I have enjoyed this evening. It's been really interesting to talk about journeying and where it leads to and what other people's questions are. It's nice to be able to answer questions rather than just give the readings, because
I really like, I love the interaction. It brings me so much joy, and you must remember that this is mine and Lauren's opinion, and we are all opinionated individual human beings, and you need to find your own way, find your own feet. But if any of you are, working with someone that you don't feel your development's fitting, try a different reader or try a different therapist. It's really important, because it won't always gel.
No.
I've gone to see readers that people have gone, oh wow, that's amazing, and I've just thought, well, that didn't really tell me anything I didn't know. And then I've gone to another reader that someone's gone, I don't really think much of them, and I've had the most amazing reading. So it's all energy. It's really important to remember it's not about you, it's not about the reader. It is all energy. Stay blessed, stay well, and I'll see you very soon. We're going to sign off now. Take care. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.